Alright everyone, Shaetan here with more replays from MLG Providence. This time it's going to be a championship winners bracket round 2 match on MLG Metalopolis. This is game number 1 between the Red Terran spawning in the upper right location, Dignitas' Select, and the God of Zerg, I suppose. He is the blue Zerg spawning in the western position, QIM's Nestea. Now there is obviously, Nestea is going to be the favorite in this matchup, but the thing to remember is that Nestea has been appearing more and more mortal as of late. His vaunted ZvZ was finally defeated in the Arena of Legends tournament by Boong Boong, and ZvT is not really one of his, it's not his favorite matchup. A lot of his losses have been coming in that matchup, of course, many of those from MVP, a great player in his own right. So we'll see really how this series plays out. Meanwhile, Select is a very, very good foreign player. He's probably one of the top foreign players, definitely one of the top players hailing from the United States. He is a Korean American, however, and I know that he's been spending a lot of time practicing his TVP, so that's going to be tip top. But we'll see how his TVZ has developed. We do see him dropping a barracks. It looks like he's actually going for a 2-Rex, and this is an interesting position to place the second barracks because it's MLG Metalopolis, so close position spawns are impossible, which means that there would be no reason for Nestea to even scout this way. We do see, however, that Nestea opted to go for a very, very safe pool first rather than the hatch first, which is almost a norm in ZvT as of late. So we'll see how this plays out. The thing is that as long as Select doesn't get too greedy, he shouldn't fall too far behind, as the hatchery is delayed for Nestea a little bit compared to a 15 hatch, 15 pool. So we'll see how he plays it out. In terms of scouting, Select has no idea even where his opponent is, which is kind of interesting. And we'll see how he decides to alter his build once he sees that his opponent has opted to go for pool first rather than hatch first. There's also a spine crawler coming out right now for Nestea, so he wants to play very, very safe. I think this is in preparation for the inevitable Hellion that will be coming, well, or the Hellion that's become very popular in the ZvT TVZ metagame, where Reactor Hellions expand are almost the norm. So he wants to get this spine color up so he can transfer it down right away. There are multiple SCVs kind of poking around. Select knows exactly what is up. However, I think he's sort of rethought his plan. He sees the Zerglings are already out a little bit before they should be, so I would expect him to maybe lift off this barracks after 1 or 2 more Marines. It looks like he has lifted it off. So that 2-Rax was held off by Nestea perfectly, and he really had no idea what was even happening. So now Select is going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage right now. All he has to his name are 2 barracks. He has no gas, and we see him doing really the only logical follow-up is a command center. So he's going to be relying just purely on Marines to keep him safe, and he's going to be getting this bunker. Now, finally, we do see Nestea is moving out with 6 Zerglings. These shouldn't do too much damage against the, 4 Marines that are up, and now he's finally going to know something is up. He sees that the barracks is in the air, so I'm sure that Nestea is very, very happy. However, a bit of a uncharacteristic blunder by him getting hard supply blocked at 28. The Overlord started after that popped out, and we see that Nestea actually still has no gas, so he could be going for a bit of almost a Spanishiwa build, where you delay that gas for a long time, but it's very uncommon to do so in ZvT. I suppose it's because he realizes, my opponent built 2 barracks. That means that his factory and his gas are going to be very, very delayed, which means that I can delay my gas for a little, I can delay my speed for a little, because all that's going to be coming is Marines, and this spine crawler, along with a couple of Queens and Zerglings, will be, even Slowlings, will be more than enough to deal with this. This is also going to allow Nestea to power up drones hard. He's going to be at 30 drones versus the 21 SCVs of his opponent. And we see that Select is actually looking like he's just going to be going for a heavy bio push. It looks like 2 more barracks have dropped down. He's getting a tech lab on one of them, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a combat shield, stim timing, maybe even getting +1 if he so desired. And now we see that 2 extractors are taken by Nestea, just really getting ready, feeling comfortable with 32 drones. That okay, it's time to get some gas, start getting speed, just so I can be safe against a big bio ball, because Slowlings can just be kited forever by Marines, and with a very, very large bio ball, the just effectiveness of them increases quite quickly. Now there is a scout from Select, sorry, to see what exactly his opponent is doing. He's actually going to be able to get in decently far. He's going to see that there is a lot of creep spread, really nice creep spread from Nestea. He has one queen specifically designed just to drop creep tumors. We see 3 that are on the way, and Select is going to come in to scout and see if the third base is there. There is no third base, so Select probably is going to be, not displeased with that. He's going to know, okay, I'm not too far behind, even though my opening was, put me at a disadvantage, and we can see that really being spelled out right here. 43 drones to 30 SCVs. And it looks like Select is just going to go for a 4 racks follow-up. It looks like he's going to be attacking with about 18, maybe 20 Marines when he finally gets there with combat shield, no stim, and then he's going to follow this up with the factory. Now, Zergling speed is actually very, very late. It's not, it's like basically a third done right now, and we see a bunch of Zerglings coming. So these Marines are going to be able to do a lot of damage just in terms of killing Zerglings, but they probably aren't going to be able to do significant damage in terms of actually getting into the main base of Nestea or anything. However, he is wiping out a few overlords. He's killing a bunch of creep tumors, and really once Select sees all of these Zerglings, he should just run. He's going to get back, and he's getting the full surround on these Marines, which is really, really good for Nestea. So he's going to be able to wipe, I think, all of them out eventually. No, it looks like the Marines, the combat shield has finished, so they're very, very effective. But now there's only 12 of them left. The spine crawler is going to poke away, kill one of them. So now there's 11 Marines, but they're going to be able to get in a really, really good position behind the mineral line, which means that the surface area for Zerglings to attack is not going to be all that effective. We do see 26 more Zerglings on the way. There are overlords being killed right and left, but remember, the drone advantage is still in Nestea's side, and he has the third base up, so as long as he can hold this attack, he's going to be in a really, really good situation. He is moving his drones around to attack from multiple sides, so he's going to be able to take this push out, and if we look in the Harvester's Lost Lab, it looks like Select is only going to be able to kill maybe 4, no, not even 4, he's going to kill 3 drones. One of those is probably even the scout. No, there was no scouting. No, so 3 drones have been killed, and I think Nestea is going to be very, very pleased with that. He's still up about 9 drones. He's going to be up to about 16 or 15. And we see, even though Select is getting his third base, he's very, very behind on tech. His siege mode is about halfway done, and Nestea has 3 bases up. He has his lair, or no, he doesn't have his lair. He stayed on hatch tech for a very, very long time, just now starting his lair, which means that Select is actually probably going to be okay taking this third base as long as he defends it properly with siege tanks. Now Select looks like he's going to move out instead with just 1 tank and a medevac, maybe going for some drop play, but the Zerglings for Nestea spotted. We see that now it's 63 drones to 46 SCVs, and now Nestea started to power up, making 20 Zerglings. He knows that a push should be coming fairly soon. Right around the 10-minute mark is when you can almost expect the stereotypical Terran push to arrive, and with the delay from with the tech delay from going with the 2 racks opening, that push has been delayed a little bit. We can see that a very popular opening, for example, is the 3 tank push after Reactor Hellions, and Nestea or Select just now is getting his 2nd tank. So he's not really going to be able to move out and then do all that much damage, because every single attempt at aggression from him has been rebuffed quite easily. We see that the lair is done, and what is Nestea choosing to do? It looks like he's just getting his +1 melee attacks. He's getting Baneling speed. And it doesn't look like he's made a tech choice yet. There is a very, very large clump of Zerglings set near the third, and it looks like that's where Select is going to go for, but there's just not too many Marines. I mean, yes, there are 32 of them, but you usually see something like 70 Marines, and now we see that the Banelings are going in, but they don't have speed yet, which means they're not going to be able to impact on the Zerglings, impact on the Marines without the Zerglings sort of catching them by the waist, as Destiny would describe, but he is able to take out all of the tanks with most of his Banelings being wasted on those, and Select still has a big clump of about 12 Marines that he's going to use to do as much damage as he can before he's forced to escape. He has 2 medevacs for them, and Spire is just about halfway done for Nestea, which means that these drops are going to be very, very safe. We see that Select is moving back. He should pick these units up right away, and it looks like he is doing so. He lost about 2 Marines there, but all of that aggression is allowing Select to get up his own third base, which he hasn't started mining from yet. The Harvester count is now only 7 SCVs in the lead for Nestea, and Select has actually taken the supply lead. We see him moving up with the follow-up push. This is a very, very good style of Terran to play, I suppose, where you just keep up the aggression as much as possible. You should have more than one tank really, and we see that he does have 2 factories now. His armory is up somewhere. It's almost done right there, so he's going to be able to start pumping out 2 factories, pumping out 2 siege tanks at a time. And look at this really nice overlord spread from Nestea. He is going to be more than aware of this drop coming. It's going to pass by 2 overlords, and he should be able to react very appropriately. But that is going to pull all of these Zerglings away, which is going to allow Select to move in and attack the 3rd base. He should be able to get a pretty nice position with his siege tanks up, but it looks like the siege is a little bit late, and all these Zerglings are going to arrive before siege tech arrives. Now it's finally up, and that's going to drive away all of these Zerglings and Banelings, but the Banelings do have speed. They're moving in right now. The Zerglings are trying to get the catch on the Marines, and it looks like they do. Beautiful move right there from Nestea. He ran the Zerglings by the Marines just to surround them from the back so that the Banelings would be able to run in and get them. This is going to clean up everything from Select, and now we can see that Nestea has taken the supply lead 139 to 120. He's starting to get Mutalisks out. There's 5 out. No, there's 10 out already with another 5 on the way. So once this drop is cleaned up by the Mutalisks, he should be able to move out and just do a lot of damage with them. We do see, however, that this drop is going to give Select the time to get up missile turrets. We see 1 going down at the 3rd, none at the natural, and are there any going at the main? No, it doesn't look like that. I think Select might be, he should be aware of how many there are. He saw that there were at least 10 chasing his medevac, so he should be building more missile turrets than just 1 between all of his bases. There's not even any Thors on the way. Are there any out? It doesn't look like it. Just Marine tank from Select, but he hasn't been able to build up the big, siege tank line that he needs. And oh my god, look at this. The Zerglings just stream in. The depots are down. They're going to be able to take out so many things, and there's not even a wall here. He's able to just run right in. The split from Select, or from Nestea, is very, very nice. He's just putting a couple of Zerglings into the main, so he's going to be able to take out a couple of the SCVs. He's only killed 2 so far, but this is just going to pull Nestea, Select back into his base. He's forced to stim all of his Marines, and look at all of this. He was able to pick up at least 2 tanks and force mining to stop at the main base. There's not even any mining at the 3rd base, as the Mutalisks are doing terrible damage. They're going to take out the planetary fortress, and that's probably going to be almost the end of the game. There's not really going to be that much of a way for Select to recover, especially because Nestea has 5 Banelings right here that he's going to be able to use to probably take out all of these SCVs if Select isn't on his toes. But even so, it's 4 base versus 2 base, and keep your eye on these Banelings. We'll see exactly what they do. The Mutalisks are moving in. He's probably going to try and distract him at the natural and then move in with these Banelings to take out all of these SCVs. Look at how many there are. Oh my god, that's beautiful. There's something like 40 Marines, 40 SCVs there, and there's still more damage being done by the Mutalisks. 18 SCVs killed, and unfortunately the Mutalisks drove away these SCVs, meaning that these poor Banelings aren't going to be able to find anywhere to impact. And we do see a bunch of Spine Crawlers going down at the 4th base. Nestea is actually a bit light on units. He's almost maxed, but with 27 Mutalisks. Never mind. So he's going to be able to do a lot of damage. As long as he holds off this push without taking too much damage, he should be in a great situation going into the end game. He can almost sacrifice his 4th base if he wants, as he's already 1 base up on his opponent. I think that's what he's going to do. Probably just morphing more and more Banelings, and then moving in to kill this army after it gets whittled down a little bit by these Spine Crawlers and such. The Mutalisks are moving in as well. They're going to try and pick off as much stuff as they can. They could probably Magic Box to Thor and take it out. We see the Mutalisks actually moving around, maybe going for a counterattack, but there's not really much to counterattack at all. And They did. The Banelings got about 6 SCVs with their kill. The 4th base goes down from Nestea, but that's okay. Nestea is massing up units. He looks like he's going to move in for the attack right now, and he moves in, and moves back out, and now this final push is probably going to just be able to kill everything. The Mutalisks roll in, they're Magic Boxing on the Thor. The Thor goes down, the Banelings are rolling in, they're doing a lot of damage to Select Marines, and there's almost no Marines left. The Mutalisks should be able to clean this up on their own. 150 supply to 95 supply. Nestea in just a commanding situation. There's a command center floating out to the 3rd base from Select, but it looks like it's just too little too late. Nestea is expanding all over the map. He's taking a 4th and 5th base on Select side of the map, and really he should just be able to move in with his +2, soon-to-be +2 Lings, maybe make some Banelings and finish it. Especially, you can even target down this 3rd base pretty easily, probably get it before it morphs into a planetary fortress, if he decides to do that. And it looks like that is what Nestea is doing. He's morphing about, how many is that? 20 Banelings, and probably just going to roll in with all of those, take out the planetary fortress, and that should force the GG, because Select just has no money. His main is basically mined out. His natural has maybe a 1/3 of the supply that, a 1/3 of the minerals that it started out with, and Nestea is just in a commanding situation. I'm kind of surprised that Nestea has stayed so low on drones. He's one of the players that really likes to mass up a lot of drones, get up to 80, 90, and then eventually, bring those down with spine crawlers as he needs to. And it looks like he's going to move in. He's going to see that the third base is here. It is a planetary fortress. It's going to be a little beefier, and Nestea might even just ignore it and just go for the Natural. It looks like he is just rolling in with the Banelings. These Marines are pinned between a Thor and a hard place, and it looks like the Banelings are just going to kill everything. The Banelings rolling in, all these SCVs going down. The Thor, the last defense against the Mutalisk, is down, and selected GG's out 1-0 Nestea.